Stems from Lekota expelling Mosiuoa from the party after an internal disciplinary hearing. Mosiuoa refused to participate in that hearing. He was found guilty of mismanagement of the party's parliamentary funds. Jubilant COPE supporters were at Lekota's side after years of leadership wrangle in the party, and a dejected Mosiuoa expressed disappointment.
And with us in studio, we have Mosiuoa Lekota to discuss the implications of today's judgment and his party's plans going ahead. A very good evening to you, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Good evening, Election.
Firstly, the court ruled in your favor, so you're the rightful leader of COPE. How are you feeling? What's your reaction to the court's ruling?
Well, first of all, I think that there never really was a dispute about leadership. I was, together with the Congress National Committee, put in leadership by the inaugural conference. The issue really here was one of values. It was whether the Congress of the People would stick to the principles of accountability, incorruptibility, and so on, which we had announced at the formation of the party. And that really, it had to do with that, because we needed to correct that. Now, I think that it's vindicated the commitment of our members to those principles. Many of those who stayed on with the party supporting its work show that they are genuine about their commitment to them. Now, that took us a long time, and I think we owe an apology to our supporters and many who contributed to the founding of the party. And we owe it to them now, first to go back to communities and to explain to them what happened. Secondly, to recommit to those principles that we had promised them. And thirdly, to finally carry out the mandate of the Congress that they had instructed us to prepare for. I think we are in a position to deal with that.
So you're acknowledging the impact that this internal fighting and internal politics has had on the party as a whole. How are you going to remedy that situation? You say you're going to go back to the communities. How are you going to rebuild confidence in your party?
Well, let me say firstly that certainly it lost us a lot of goodwill that the management of the party went into disarray the way it did. Now, the way we're going to do it is that at the present time we have provincial structures in all 9 provinces. And the judgment today made clear that only those who are part of the structures managed by the Congress National Committee as led by myself, those are the ones who can claim legitimately to be the Congress of the People. We have made it clear, even at the close of the case in July, that all of those people that are committed to the Congress of the People who want to return to the party are welcome. We cannot exclude people from the Congress of the People simply because they preferred another leader other than myself or anybody else, because no political party has got a leader that is supported by 100% of its members.
Let's talk about that other leader who is claiming to be the leader of the party. Any idea what's going to happen to Mosiuoa, his political future?
Well, I honestly don't know. The judge passed judgment today, and I think anybody who really wants to know ought to ask him.
Fair enough. This ruling also paves the way for your Congress to take place. I would imagine it's all systems go. When is that likely to happen?
Well, tomorrow our Congress National Committee is going in session to review all of this, to review what needs to be done, when it can be done, and so on. And I cannot possibly go ahead of the Congress National Committee. We will make announcement as soon as the Congress National Committee meeting is finished.
Would you agree then that this Congress will in sort be a litmus test to the support base that you hold within your party?
Well, we are quite satisfied with the base support we have. All we need now is a disciplined approach and involvement of everybody in a Congress. And with this judgment, we are quite confident that there will be no disruptions.
Now, Mr. Lekota, 2014 elections, it's around the corner.
Yes.
Last elections, 2009, if I'm not mistaken, you had something like 8% of the national vote. What is your goal going forward to this election?
Well, we've taken time to look at some of the opinion polls before the last elections. And those suggested that had it not been for the disruption of the leadership, we would have scored far higher, indeed in the 15 and 20s. It was some of the polls that indicated. Now, with the clarity now as to where and what the position of the party is, I think we'll recoup quite a bit of that space. You must remember that it's not the first time we are going into an election campaign very close to the elections. In the first elections, we actually launched the party 16 December 2008. It was 125 days before the election results were announced. Now that was not an easy thing. And at that time, we had no structures in the provinces. We had no experienced and coordinated, disciplined leadership as we had now. The tests through which our provincial leaders, regional leaders have gone through over this time suggests to me that we will be a force to reckon with.
Okay, clarity aside and clarity acknowledged, going into this election, we've had other opposition parties mushrooming like Ahang SA, EFF. You didn't have them last time around. Are you a bit concerned, perhaps? Do you think that they are going to eat into the pool of COPE voters? What's going to set you aside?
I think it's impossible for anybody to take away membership that has been loyal to the Congress of the party under the most difficult circumstances, as what we have seen over the last 4 years or so. I don't think that will be so. The challenge really for us is whether we will be, or to what extent we'll succeed in recouping those who have always been with the Congress of the people and drawing in newer entrants. And I think we are going to do especially well.
Mr. Mosiuoa Lekota, leader of COPE, thank you very much for your time. Peter, it's back to you.